Ho, ho, ho. Welcome back to math class. I am Mrs. Santa Donovan. Hope you guys are having a great day. We are going to finish up our very first section of Chapter 5 on simplifying algebraic expressions. And this time, instead of combining like terms, we're going to use the distributive property, which you should have learned, but we're going to review it. So to multiply a sum or a difference by a number, we're going to multiply each term inside the parentheses by the number outside the parentheses. And here's what that looks like. If I have two numbers that I'm adding or subtracting and I want to multiply them by some other number, then we're going to multiply both of those numbers by this number outside the parentheses here. So here's a few examples. You might have something like x plus 2, an algebraic expression with two terms. We just multiply the 4 times the x and the 4 times the 2. Or if they're being subtracted, 3 times the x, 3 times the 5. So that is the distributive property that we're going to look at, and we'll look at a few examples. And this is on page 237. So if you want to go to page 237, there's a few boxes you can fill out in the middle of 237. Now we can model using algebra tiles, which we're going to look at in class probably in a couple of days, not necessarily for this section. But if I want to model x plus 2 using algebra tiles, then here's x and here's 2 ones. So 1 plus 1 is 2. And then I want to multiply that by 2. So I'm going to double this. So in the boxes on page 237, you could fill this in. This would be 2 times x plus 2 times 2. So we're doubling this. And then how many do we have all together? Well, if you look at it, we have 2 x's and 4 1s. So 2x plus 4 is what that looks like. So let's look at a few examples. Again, on page 237, we're going to use the distributive property to multiply 4 times negative 3x plus 6. So anytime you have a number times a term, an expression with two terms like this, again, we're just using the distributive property. So I'm going to multiply 4 times the negative 3x plus 4 times the 6 there. And then just simplify. So 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. 4 times 6 is 24. And that's it. So this equals negative 12x plus 24. Now a lot of people, for whatever reason, I've taught this for many years, will multiply the first, but then forget the second. So remember that you have to multiply both things in parentheses by that number. Let's look at another example, and this is not in your book, so you can write this in the margins on page 237. So we want to multiply, and you can do this without writing too much. So if you just want to do this and just do this in your head, that's fine. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14x, and then 7 times positive 3 is a positive 21. So again, we're multiplying the 7 times this and the 7 times that. So you guys pause and try the check problem on the bottom of page 237. And now that you've done that, you can flip to page 238 and let's look at a few other examples. Sometimes you might be subtracting, and sometimes the number might not be written in front, it might be written at the end. That's okay, we're still multiplying this expression by 3. Okay, so we're still going to multiply. If you want, you can write this as addition, and then we're still going to multiply 3 times 2x and 3 times negative 5y. Multiply those, and again, we don't want to leave parentheses in our expression, so if it's plus negative, then we're just going to rewrite that back as a subtraction problem. So again, this is 6x minus 15y for our final answer. Now we don't need to write all these steps necessarily. So if we look at another example, we can do this fairly quickly. I'm just going to multiply 4 times this and 4 times this. So what's 4 times negative 3x? That would be negative 12x. We just multiply the numbers and then the x comes along with. And then 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. So basically you're just multiplying each of these numbers by 4. So you guys try the check problem, pause and try the check problem in the middle of page 238. And then we will look at our final example for this section. Be careful with negatives, especially when the number that you're distributing is negative, okay? And you can look through the example in the book, but I'm going to do this one with you guys. So again, we're just going to multiply negative 5 times 2x. So negative 5 times 2 is negative 10x. And then be careful right here. I have a negative 5 times a negative 9. So a negative times a negative is positive 45. And that's how you can do these without writing, you don't have to write out each step along the way. Look at this next example and write this in the margins on page 238, right next to example 6. So write this problem down right here. Write this down. And let's do this one together. Negative 8 times positive 5x. So negative 8 times positive 5 would be negative 40x. And then negative 8 times negative 9. Negative times a negative is positive 72. And so that's how we would distribute. So just be very careful that you multiply both numbers in parentheses and that you're looking at the signs and paying attention to what the signs are when you are doing that. And you can try the problem at the bottom of page 238 and make sure you have your parents' sign at the bottom of page 238, and we will stop there. See you next time.